The Four Sisters. A story of hope and unity. In a small town nestled between rolling hills and whispering woods, there stood an old wooden house that had seen better days. The paint peeled from its weathered walls like autumn leaves, and the front porch sagged gently under the weight of many seasons. But within these humble walls lived something far more precious than any grand mansion could contain. Four sisters whose love for each other burned brighter than the morning sun. Emma, the eldest at 19, had shoulders that seemed too young to carry such heavy responsibilities. Her gentle brown eyes held wisdom beyond her years, and her hands, though soft, were calloused from countless hours of hard work. She moved through their small home like a graceful dancer, always tending to her younger sisters with the tender care of a mother. Sarah, 17 and full of quiet determination, possessed a mind as sharp as a winter morning. She spent her evenings hunched over borrowed books by candlelight, her fingers tracing each word as if it held the key to a better tomorrow. Her dreams reached far beyond their tiny town, yet her heart remained firmly rooted in the love she shared with her sisters. 15-year-old Lisa had hands that seemed touched by magic itself. Whatever she touched seemed to bloom with beauty and purpose. She could take scraps of old fabric and create something wonderful, or transform a handful of wildflowers into an arrangement that would make angels weep with joy. Her creativity flowed like a gentle river, bringing color to their gray world. And then there was little Amy, just Tracy, whose laughter could chase away the darkest clouds. Her spirit danced through their home like sunlight through morning mist, and her optimism was a beacon that guided her sisters through their most difficult days. Though they were just girls, they had faced more hardships than most people do in a lifetime. 3 winters ago, their parents had passed away, leaving the sisters with nothing but each other and a mountain of debt that seemed to grow larger with each passing month. The creditors came regularly, their stern voices echoing through the thin walls, reminding the girls that time was running short. Soon they would lose even this humble home that held all their precious memories. Each morning brought new challenges. Emma worked at the local diner, her feet aching from standing for hours, while Sarah tutored younger children for a few coins. Lisa sold her handmade crafts at the weekend market, and even young Amy helped by gathering herbs and berries that they could sell or trade for food. Despite their efforts, the money never seemed to be enough. Some nights they would sit together on their old couch, sharing a simple meal of bread and soup, but their conversation was always filled with hope. They spoke of dreams as if they were plans, and plans as if they were promises they intended to keep. One day, Emma would say softly, "We'll have a home with a garden full of flowers, and a library with hundreds of books." Sarah would add, her eyes sparkling in the lamplight, "With a workshop where I can create beautiful things for people all over the world." Lisa would whisper, her hands already moving as if shaping her dreams from the air itself. "And we'll never be hungry again," little Amy would conclude, though she always said it with a smile that suggested she was hungry for adventure more than food. One particularly gray autumn morning, when the bills seemed heavier than usual and hope felt as distant as the stars, an unexpected visitor arrived at their door. Mrs. Henderson, a well-dressed woman from the wealthy part of town, stood on their sagging porch with an expression that seemed both serious and kind. "I've been watching you girls," she said gently. "I've seen how hard you work, how you care for each other, and how you never let your circumstances steal your joy or your dreams." The sisters exchanged glances, uncertain where this conversation might lead, but they welcomed her inside with the same grace they would show to any guest, regardless of their own humble surroundings. Mrs. Henderson continued, her eyes taking in the clean but worn furniture, the carefully mended curtains, and the unmistakable warmth that filled every corner of their small home. "I lost my own family years ago, and I've been looking for someone to invest in, not just with money, but with purpose." She paused, reaching into her elegant handbag and withdrawing an envelope that seemed to glow with possibility. "I want to offer each of you a scholarship. Emma, for business school. Sarah, for university. Lisa, for art school. And Amy, for the finest preparatory academy in the state." The silence that followed was so complete that they could hear their own hearts beating in perfect rhythm. For hearts that had learned to beat as one through years of shared struggle and unwavering love. "But," Mrs. Henderson added with a gentle smile, "there's one condition. You must promise me that no matter how successful you become, No matter how far your dreams take you, you'll never forget the strength you found in each other during these difficult times. Through tears of joy and disbelief, the four sisters looked at each other and knew that this moment would be forever etched in their hearts. They had learned that true wealth wasn't measured in coins or possessions, but in the unbreakable bonds of love, the courage to keep dreaming, and the willingness to work together toward a brighter tomorrow. Years later, when Emma had built a successful business, when Sarah had become a respected teacher, when Lisa's artwork hung in galleries across the country, and when Amy had graduated with honors, they would still gather in their childhood home, now beautifully restored, every Sunday for dinner, and they would remember that their greatest treasure had never been the success that followed, but the love that had carried them through their darkest days and taught them that no storm could ever break the bond between four sisters who had learned to face the world together, hand in hand, heart to heart. Their story became a beacon of hope for others, proving that sometimes the most beautiful flowers bloom in the most unexpected gardens, and that loud determination and unity can transform even the humblest beginnings into the most extraordinary endings.